Hey everybody, welcome to Fractured Focus episode number 13, the show where we obsess about everything from geek culture to nerd news along with random topics for discussion. I'm one of your hosts, Ben Gordon, alongside my brother, the illustrious Dan Gordon. Dan, how you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
And coming in live from the great state of Nebraska, the original Swino of Omaha himself, Matt Swinehart. Here we go, filming episode number 13. We just did the reaction, which will be posted soon, of Game of Thrones Season 2.
With incredible sound quality.
And we just found out, yes, that the audio, Dan and mine audio was not plugged in properly. So hope it sounds good. Don't stop watching because we sound weird. At least you'll hear Matt. That's why you watch, to see Matt's reaction too. It's still a good episode. I hope we didn't lose a lot of it. God damn it.
So. Yeah, it was like an hour and something.
Yeah,
well, we'll dub over ourselves later.
Jesus, do you know how much time that would take to do it? Oh, my God. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive into this one and double check now. Everything should be fine in this one. So let's go ahead and talk about our first topic, guys. Okay. First topic, DC movie directors. So many different ways we could go.
Past, present, and future?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously what alluded to this topic in the first place is that there's been so much in the news, especially with, DC movies. Batman, the Batman that Ben Affleck said he was open to directing, he bailed out of doing that. We talked about that last week for probably obvious reasons. I mean, being in a bat suit and having to go back and forth from that might compromise the...
That would be awesome, just be on set and see.
Can you imagine? Oh, I can't even imagine going through all that crap. But anyway, so he bailed out of that.
Show me the episode.
Direct in the voice. I need lighting. Lighting.
I need to see it again.
Maybe you could do it a little bit more with a little bit more levity in your voice.
Fighting off his inefficiency.
Well, last week, news broke that they were going to be offering it to Matt Reeves, who's an accomplished director. He did Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. He's done... there was a couple other great movies that he did, and everybody assumed that he was going to take that and he was happy with the script, but he just dropped out of the running. So clearly they're having troubles with that movie. That's all DC needs right now is more drama and negative press because clearly they're not doing so well. And then Suicide Squad, which, don't get me wrong, made some money, was not my favorite movie by any stretch of the imagination or anybody I've talked to ever, really, about that movie. Apparently they're already going forward with a sequel, and they're in talks with Mel Gibson as a potential director for the movie, and Mel Gibson has already confirmed that yes, he is in talks to do that. Thoughts?
It's going to be a fun time on set with him and Will Smith in the same room.
I didn't even think about that. No shit.
I got some thoughts. Will, can you try to do it, but be less,
Will Smith.
black?
Can you be less Fresh Prince and be...
Yeah.
You know what's so weird? As much as Mel Gibson has kind of turned into a crackpot in the last handful of years and said some really outlandish stuff when he's been drunk, he is an accomplished director.
It was more the Jews that he was going after.
Yes. Say what?
It was more the Jews.
That's true.
And the sweet tits.
He said some pretty negative things towards the African American race too, but it's so weird because
I think about my Laker tickets.
You just you see Mel Gibson in these movies like Lethal Weapon, and you can't believe this guy could be an internal racist. It's just so weird. He seems like the nicest guy that would be nice to everybody out there, but clearly when he gets any kind of substance abuse in his system, some nasty shit really comes out there. But do you think this could be a positive?
Well, I mean, it's
Mel Gibson's a great director.
Yeah, I think it would actually be better than anything we've seen so far.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about Braveheart.
Yeah.
That was like the first movie I saw where he directed.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's a good director. Mm-hmm. He's a really good director. I mean, Passion of Christ, I've never seen it.
Right.
Because I don't really need to be depressed anymore.
I haven't seen that either. We talked a little bit about this last week, but with I lost my point.
Last week we were talking about the pressure of being a director for DC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's kind of why
right.
Ben backed out.
How like Ben Affleck kind of unfairly getting the role thrust upon him to help fix what DC's doing, with Ben Affleck being such a talented director and a proven screenwriter. He's kind of bowed out of that role, which I think is for good reasons too. I think taking on too much is not going to help the franchise, and it's going to just stress him out, which now clearly the point he kind of wants out. But there's a comical nature that just pops into your head when you think about Mel Gibson, just because of him being in the limelight in a negative manner over the past few years. But the more you think about it, I'm like, well, they need a really well accomplished director to kind of help right this DC ship that so far none of them have proven very. And don't get me wrong, I'll hate on Batman v Superman like everybody else because I think the story was all over the place. I liked it. I remember coming out of that movie theater thinking I thought it was cool. Again, I love seeing Batman, Superman up there. I do think the story was all over the place. And there were some things that didn't make sense, but I liked it as a movie. But I can totally understand why it was so polarized and why if I was making that movie, I never would have let that get out into theaters the way it was done because it was too much. I just can't understand why that would go through so many hands or eyes, and not one person would say, yeah, but why is this happening or what's going on here? This is going to confuse the shit out of the audience.
Well, that's kind of a difficult thing to do, though, to be just that one voice of reason that kind of pop up.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Especially if you're in a room full of people that are like, yeah.
We got a multi-million-dollar franchise just kind of coming down the pipes. I'm not going to be the one guy that's going to hold it up and say, wait, this doesn't look like it's good.
It feels like the George Lucas syndrome comes into it where you don't want to question the guy in charge because, I mean, I think Zack Snyder's a talented director, but I just think that he...
But what has Zack Snyder done? What has he done that you've liked? 300?
300 I liked.
I liked 300, yes.
Sin
City 1?
Sin City was
no,
good.
He wasn't that. That was Frank Miller.
Yep. Well, no, he's the one that...
Yeah, but didn't Zack Snyder direct it? Or did he direct that? I don't remember him directing that.
No, I don't think he directed
Sucker Punch, I liked Sucker Punch.
Yeah, but Sucker Punch still wasn't
a good movie,
the same way.
It's like...
It was good for what Zack Snyder's good at, stylistically viewing this stuff, but story coherence, not so much.
Yeah.
And I think that's really got to be the crux, especially if you want to... at least to some manner, copy the success that Marvel's having. Because I think all the Marvel's success, lots of reasons. It's not like we can simplify this down. Well, here's why Marvel's...
He wasn't in Sin City.
Yeah.
No.
But obviously it's a number of reasons, but I think one of the big primary reasons that Marvel's had so much success is because their story and their narratives have been so strong.
Yeah, and Joss Whedon.
He's one of the big reasons, yeah. But I mean, even all the movies, the ones that he didn't have, you've had really good narratives in there that were very strong and paid a lot of care and homage to the heart of what the character is, even if they had to change some things. And I get the feeling that this DC group led by Zack Snyder was like, because Zack Snyder is a big comic book nerd himself. He loves that stuff. But I just think that the having the primary strength when you're going into directing these movies can't just be the stylistic way you shoot the stuff and the way it's going to be viewed, the visuals of it. I think that it's more important to have the story and the narrative aspect in there too.
Yeah.
And I think that Mel Gibson actually could be a positive to this too. I think the only possible...
Well, I think so too.
Yeah, I think the only possible negatives are going to be you're going to have a lot of people on the internet lash out saying, what, Mel Gibson, that crackpot, this, that, or the other. I think it's going to be a long time before we have someone as good as Christopher Nolan in, even though he's the executive producer, which I don't feel like he's that involved anymore. I mean, do you guys?
Yeah, that's the whole thing is like executive producing is pretty much means you put money up front, hoping you're going to get money in return.
Not even necessarily. You might not put any. He's not an investor. He's not money backer. He's just like usually EP has some kind of role in decision making, or they want your name on as a title credit to get audiences in. Like
Watchmen.
Yeah.
Watchmen was the other movie that Zack Snyder did.
Yes.
That one I never saw, but I've heard it was done again.
But it falls in that same line.
Right.
Of
Watchmen was really good.
Yeah.
And that one, all they had to do was copy the...
I mean, it was shot for shot from the...
Yeah, it was a shot for shot with the comic.
Right.
Or the graphic novel.
Yeah. Yep.
Because did Zack Snyder help come up with the screenplay for Batman v Superman? I'm assuming he did. I mean, maybe not be the chief screenwriter, but plot-wise.
I don't think so.
Some of that stuff
director
is just,
credit.
I still don't understand how in Batman v Superman just knew where Lois was in this terrorist camp, and when you don't understand that aspect, you also don't understand how is Lex Luthor going to set this trap where he knows that Superman will come there. Some of it just doesn't make sense. Whereas Christopher
Some of them
Nolan
might have hit the cutting room floor.
Yeah, really isn't.
Yeah, but even in the extended version, it still didn't answer that question.
Yeah, it never really addressed it, other than the fact that maybe Superman's just super obsessed.
Yeah.
Like the overprotective boyfriend's like, hold on, I hear Lois somewhere.
Sorry, child trapped in
Halfway
a house
across the
fire.
world.
I gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lois has got a hangnail.
Well, the Wonder Woman movie so far looks to be better. I mean, we've been let down before, but at least, I mean, having a new director, a woman director in there, which I don't know what else she's directed before, but so far from everything I've seen from the trailers, looks really good. And Batman v Superman trailers looked cool, but they didn't lead me to believe that the movie was going to be better. You probably get excited, 'cause for me anyway. I was excited because the characters were on screen together, but I didn't know how the story was going to come together. I was just hopefully optimistic. When I watch the Wonder Woman trailers, I actually get excited about what I'm seeing. It looks like it was done with more care. But again, time will tell. We don't really know.
Well, yeah, then we'll find out if next thing you know, at the end of the Wonder Woman movie, if she's fighting Ares or some bullshit.
That's what's rumored to come out there. I think they even said that who the actor might be, but I don't know if that was a rumor or whatever. But I hope. Don't you kind of hope that's the case?
It's that whole DC plunge though, where they go through this movie and then at the end they just bring in some huge DC comic boss without any real backstory.
Don't you kind of hope that it would be Ares? I mean, that's tied strongly into Wonder Woman's backstory. And if this is going to be,
he's in it,
right? I mean, as far as,
but you need to build up to it.
Yeah,
it's not just somebody you bring in, like Suicide Squad. All of a sudden, the Enchantress and then.
Well, did you see the Wonder Woman animated movie? Because they did that with Ares, and it was awesome.
I haven't seen
that. I love the way I was hoping they were just going to copy that movie, which maybe to some extent they're doing. They're obviously doing it in a different time zone or time frame because it takes place World War II. I hope they do it with Ares because other than that, what's it going to be? Her against the Nazis?
World War One. No, it's
World War One.
Yeah.
Okay, and as bad as this sounds, who is the enemy in World War One? The Germans.
Germans.
Why?
The Germans.
What was that war about?
There's a lot of complicated and convoluted politics going on in there.
Because if it's just Wonder Woman against the Germans,
you need to go to Versailles and see what that's all about.
Yeah,
and...
there's
we are all college educated men.
I know.
Why did World War I start?
That's not why people watch the show.
Yeah,
that's probably why
damn it, they should
watch the show. But I mean, there's got to be some kind of big enemy for him to fight. I think Ares would be a good one.
Yeah. But at the same time, let's go back to Christopher Nolan because I don't have an opinion, I guess. So Batman Returns was the first one, right?
Batman Begins.
You mean Batman Begins?
Or Batman Begins. I'm sorry. Batman Begins says that's when we met Christian Bale as Batman.
Right.
And then it had Ra's al Ghul as the villain. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
And then, is it Dark Knight Returns?
Dark Knight was the second one.
Okay, so that's the second one. And that had Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Right.
Which is probably by far the best superhero movie ever made.
Not only that, but that was like a great film. That wasn't, you know what I mean? That was Empire.
Yeah. Of the comic book universe.
I don't think anybody will dispute that.
Okay, because it had Two-Face and it had Joker. But it was written and directed and acted so well. Now, the third one, which is what? Batman...
Dark Knight Rises.
Or Dark Knight Rises. To me, that was shit.
The fire rises.
Yeah, the fire rises.
Mr. UPS man.
Yeah.
I can't believe you think it was shit, though. Like, I know a lot of people that don't think it was as good as The Dark Knight, but I still thought... Maybe it's because I'm such a huge Christopher Nolan fan. I love how deep and thought-provoking those movies are. I love all Christopher Nolan movies.
I feel like it was his way out.
Yeah, I think that was intentional.
It was his way of ending it.
Yep.
It was not a good movie to me. It was the worst of his Batman movies. And the fact that he made it a 2-hour runtime, I was kind of like disappointed that there's 2 hours of my life.
It's probably my least favorite of the three. I'll agree with you there.
It was to me, it's just like you wasted Bane. Ra's al Ghul's daughter, who actually in the comic books plays a pretty predominant role, is just wasted in that. And I can't remember what her name is.
Talia? Talia al Ghul. Of course,
Okay.
we don't remember
Yeah.
what was her name, Miranda or whatever the.
You know what?
character's-
You know what I remember more about that? I remember more of the Pete Holmes skit.
I know that's always going through my
He
head
did.
too.
It's like, which one of these do you smell out of? Right? That's the one I remember.
Being in the bat
more
suit
than
really
the movie.
seals in the flavor.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that he made the parody of that and it was better than the movie, it has to say something.
There were some pretty big
But-
plot holes in The Dark Knight Rises that I still don't get why they did it. I like the portrayal of Bane, the way that what's his name did it, and with
Tom
the
Hardy.
voice-
Tom
Tom
Holland?
Hardy.
Yeah.
Or Hardy, yeah. I don't. He's not a bad actor. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
Now the whole Bane thing, it didn't work out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
Hey, it's not
Sorry.
Joel
Just didn't
Schumacher movies bad. Let's pump your brakes there a little bit.
No,
Dark Knight
no.
Rises isn't even close to.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree with you and say I
Really?
don't think they were
Is that
bad. It
not
wasn't
even close to George Clooney Batman.
it's not. That's
Only rusted
come
metal
on.
Batman.
Dark Knight Rises wasn't that bad.
I don't know. In my opinion,
Yeah.
it's on par with that.
Really? The Schumacher
Christina-
movies
or
bad?
what's her name? Alicia Silverstone
Yeah. Uh-huh.
as the Batgirl.
Oh, dude. That's on a whole nother. I don't know. What do you think?
Not as
Jesus.
I'm not going as far down the rabbit hole as Matt is, but by far like the weakest of the three. Again, I understand like trying to wrap up the story of Batman within a 3-movie trilogy, which means you have to have some kind of completion of Batman, which
Right.
for anybody who knows the character, is familiar with the character, that's not really an option. The only way for that to happen is for they've even tried it before by taking him out, but either someone picks up the cowl or something else happens. But Batman is a continuation. It's
Right.
not just an event that kind of occurs for a little while and then stops. As far as Nolan trying to take the story and almost apply like a real world feel to it, obviously there has to be an ending to this. But again, they as great as Tom Hardy was, that depiction of Bane. He had the cerebral element of Bane, but again, the other big part of it was just the use of venom to make.
It was
him,
a big departure for. You're
yeah.
right.
So if that's the case, we probably could have gotten a different sort of villain rather than like a Bane who was just kind of like a not Ra's al Ghul, but in league with Ra's al Ghul's daughter, and Bane's not really the kind of character that's just bent on just destruction. There's always some kind of either not profitable or some kind of beneficial goal to him at the end.
What was his motivation? Just to destroy Gotham and fulfill what the League of Assassins
he was
never
he
got
was
to
the
do?
puppet of Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, and that's not
The
really,
whole movie.
and and that's not really his. That's not really the character of Bane.
Yeah, it was a departure character.
But yeah,
I
Bane
hear that.
Bane's a lot more self-interested.
Well, that and I just don't get the whole let's keep them under hostage for 5 months, but my intention is to kill them all anyway. I'm just like,
yeah, I mean it's some way to destabilize it. I mean, I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the movie.
yeah.
As a character.
The send off
Robin.
at the end was a nice little twist that made sense for like what they said they were building up to. The fact that Batman as a symbol could be anybody. I like how they did that handoff and his middle name was Robin. That was cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Well, his first name's Robin, wasn't it?
yeah.
Oh, is that what it was?
It was one.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever the
Yeah.
checkout lady was saying.
He's
Yeah.
Robin. I mean, everybody at the end of that movie is like, "Is that new Batman?" It's like, no, that's Robin.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. Yeah.
We call him Nightwing if he wants, but
Yeah, but then he'd be in Bloodhaven. We got a whole new 3-movie series that Dolan's got to do, which would be great, by the way. But again, like, so you have like these, these good elements to it, but again, trying to wrap everything up into a third movie for Batman. Well, when Batman isn't something that you wrap up, you're kind of just going up against a roadblock right then and there.
Yeah.
So just even the kind of story you're kind of telling is not just a departure from the original source material, but it actually contradicts the source material.
Yeah. I think that was intentional, but
No,
yeah.
you're right, and that's just it. Yeah, it was intentional. It was part of his plan, but
To make it
but
realistic
to,
and
but to do that is going to lead people to think it's a Schumacher type film.
I just think Schumacher films, regardless if you liked or didn't like The Dark Knight Rises, the Schumacher movies were just fucking silly. This movie you might not have liked, but it wasn't silly.
hold your tongue, sir.
You don't think they were silly?
Nipples.
Superman.
Put nipples on the suits.
No,
There's no way on God's green earth do I think
Never
that you
mind.
don't think the Schumacher movies were silly. You know they were silly as hell.
Yeah, they were.
Uh-huh.
There's no redeeming quality for
The Schumacher ones.
Chris O'Donnell was Robin.
Yeah.
Who
I
was
didn't
Batman?
mind-
I can't. George Clooney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Batman Forever. It was more campy, but I think that was in the spirit of Batman in the 60s and stuff like that. And Val Kilmer, I didn't think did a bad job. It was way big departure from the first two. First two were much better, but I didn't mind Forever. But as soon as we got to Batman and Robin, that fourth movie that was just put on your bat ice skates, and here comes Arnold Schwarzenegger with the cheesy one-liners. It was just
Hand me
stupid.
the baby. Hand me the baby powder. I need to get into the suit.
God damn, it was just awful.
Yeah, no, Val Kilmer wasn't a horrible cast for the third Batman movie. Which one was that?
That was the third one.
Play that back.
Play what back?
The third Batman movie.
So Val Kilmer's Batman, and you open the scene with Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, and then Jim Carrey plays Edward Nygma,
the Riddler.
that becomes the Riddler.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they
You know the thing is, what's disappointing about that is the comic book, or not the comic book. I'm sorry, the cartoon, Batman animated series, did those characters so well.
Oh, I totally agree.
And that was like right in that time too. Because I remember watching that, learning about it, and then that movie came out, and it was just a complete disappointment.
I totally agree with you. I don't think we'll ever get as good as a personification of Batman that is as universally praised as the animated series. I mean, I haven't seen one since, but that's like, to me, the perfect version of Batman. It had it wasn't dumbed down for just the kids. It was a little bit more edgy. It was intelligent, but didn't have to go as far as Christopher Nolan did with really thought-provoking and deep, and I just love Christopher Nolan movies. I mean, everything he's done. Interstellar. I can't wait for that movie coming out next year by Christopher Nolan. What's it called? Dunkirk? I don't even know what it's about. But
Interstellar didn't get the rave reviews, but
I loved Interstellar though. I fucking loved it.
It was a good movie. But like,
I just
think
love
about
those
Christopher
brain porn
Nolan,
movies.
Inception.
Yeah,
that's what grabbed me.
Yeah.
So
that, I remember my head almost hurt coming out of that because that was so thought-provoking. But I just love that kind of stuff. I don't know. I think one of the most interesting things when you bring up Christopher Nolan and the Dark Knight trilogy, he did. Let's be honest, Dark Knight is going to be forever remembered as probably the best Batman movie of all time and one of the greatest superhero movies.
Maybe the best comic book movie ever.
I totally agree. And not just a superhero action movie, but I remember when that movie came out. At the time, I was living with two friends of mine, and it was a guy and a girl, and the girl was going to be going out that night on a date without one of her friends or whatever, and they were trying to decide what movie to go to, and I had just gotten back from seeing The Dark Knight Rises, and I told her, you guys need to go see The Dark Knight. Did I say The Dark Knight Rises? Yeah, The Dark Knight. I just got back from seeing The Dark Knight. I said, you guys need to go see The Dark Knight. She goes, Batman, really? I go, listen, forget that it's a Batman movie. This movie is such a great film. Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker is so good that you don't know if this guy's going to walk up to you and hand you a $20 or slit your throat. And he plays this character in such a way that you get excited for the next scene you get to see with him. I can't explain it. It is it's Oscar worthy. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it is an Oscar worthy performance. And I'm telling you, you need to go see this movie and you're going to fucking love it. I mean, it just was gushing out of me. And she went to go see it. She said, you're absolutely fucking right. And that was grounded in reality. I just get frustrated when we're going through all this hoopla with the current DC extended universe and all these directors and all these issues. And I think one of the biggest headaches I see is they keep saying, well, this is going to be different from Marvel. And I understand you don't want to just copy. You want to do something that's your own. But when you keep saying, well, this is the gritty, real version of how it would happen, I'm like, did you see Christopher Nolan's movies? Because those are as real as you get. You've added Mayan gods, Doomsday, made by Lex Luthor for no fucking reason. You're going to have a Shazam movie with magic.
And the Green Lantern Corps.
None of the shit you're doing sounds grounded or realistic at all. So if that's your defense, why don't we just... whatever.
Yeah, you can't. You can't do it.
Why do the Amazons exist again? In reality,
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
well, see here
They don't believe in men. They
it
don't
gets-
have men in their society. All the babies are born from God.
Well, see,
They
this
come
gets
down,
challenging
and
because
it's
if
like,
I'm not going to take the argument to agree that they should stick this and grind it in reality, because I just think that phrase is so subjective and
Forget
meaningless.
reality.
Because
Yeah.
that means then you can't have Wonder Woman the way we want Wonder Woman, and I want to hear about the basis of the gods and Ares in the movie and stuff like that. I want that. I don't need to see Shazam and have this just or Zatanna and have magic implemented where you just say it's just the way it is. I like the way Marvel did magic, if you want to call it that, with Asgardian, pseudo
Doctor Strange.
Pseudo-
demigods,
Science,
Doctor
yeah.
Strange. I mean, how perfect was that?
Yeah.
I can't believe how well that they nailed fucking magic on there and said, even if the word spell offends your modern sensibilities, think of it as program, and here's the source code of the universe and quantum mechanics. See that? You just immediately hear that,
can
you
accept
accept
it.
it, and then you move right on. But this DC viewpoint that they're coming from, where they're trying to keep dodging, I don't know, it's like they're trying to tiptoe around the issue without looking it right in the head and say, quit trying to do something you can't do, just do it better. I don't know, but who do you guys think can right this ship? Because I don't know if Zack Snyder's going to do it, and I know they
Mel
got
Gibson
I don't
will
think
save
Mel
us
Gibson
all.
can. I love the guy as a director. I don't think he's gonna have the control.
Like-
Cinematography, all that stuff, great. It'll be a waste of talent.
boy, what do you guys think's going to happen with this? Because if the Batman
Movie doesn't
falls
pan.
apart, I mean, it's probably gonna happen. They've delayed it, but it's gonna happen just because money. It's gonna fucking happen.
Yeah.
Justice League is already in motion. I don't know if they're done. I think they're done. Principle. I don't know. Even if they are,
Well, Justice League's gonna happen. Aquaman's gonna happen.
Wonder Woman's already about to happen.
Yeah.
So now the whole question is: what did you say, Aquaman? Do you think Aquaman for sure is gonna happen, or if if Justice League shits
It'll
the
happen.
bed? I hope so.
No,
but-
it'll happen because they've already put money in it.
yeah, but it hasn't started
It's like
production.
the next Batman movie is gonna happen
Yeah, but
with or without Ben Affleck.
until production starts, you never know. Don't get me wrong. I hope so. I don't know. I guess to round up this topic, Matt Reeves is out. Mel Gibson is a possible contender for coming in. At first, I kind of laughed when I saw that, but the more I think about it, and I think we're all in agreement, might be a good thing.
He'll regret it.
Well, Ben Affleck, it seems like he already does.
Oh, you know he does.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think in the comments below. Who do you think could help save the DC franchise?